From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening here on Evenings LA with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 tonight. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have and why there could be more months of checks. Then we go over the recon process and why that recon will be giving you other sums of money on top of stimulus. Then we cut to the vote and all your questions are answered. The vote, July 4th, July 15th. What happened to the vote? What happened to the bill? Where is the bill? How many voting steps? And when can they get it done? We'll have all those details in the final 15 minutes of this video. It's a jam-packed one, stay to the very end. Then we also cut to FIST stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime, especially if you're SSI, SSDI, and VA. And what happened with the breaking news today and yesterday? You're going to be shocked. Then we cut to the big money, like viewers Nisi getting $23,000 across the board. It's a big night with a lot of money for you to get. It's a great evening. Let's get to the details here on Evenings LALATE. Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful evening. Thank you for joining me across the board. It's too hot. It's too hot in here. It's just too hot. It's just a hot day here in Los Angeles, and everything is bad. It's too sunny. It's too hot. There's no breeze. It's just, just drop a bucket of ice on me. And give me a Super Bowl ring. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat right now and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why those Democrats want to potentially give you more months of stimulus checks. It's incredible, great news with a lot of breaking news about it right on this evening's broadcast tonight. Then we cut to the recon and why that recon will be getting more money to you from those progressives and what is the money. I have that breaking news as well. Then we turn to all the questions you've been asking about recon, and all those questions are answered in the final 15 minutes of this video. I'll be going over the July 4th, the July 15th, the July 14th, the bill, the vote, the drafting, the steps, the process. What are they doing? What are they not doing? Everything you need to know. Then we cut to FIST stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime, especially if you're on SSI and SSDA. And then we get to the big money that viewers continue to get with $13,000, a recurring number last night. Viewers getting $13,000 for rent left and right, and viewers getting $10,000 to $20,000. This is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week, financial news channel in America, live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. With this show this evening from Santa Monica. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video, I'll automatically take you there. And then Overnight's, then Evening's Crypto, and then Sirloin, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, that's a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. Every like helps, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check and see why everything changed in 1 week. It was a week ago when we said, well, the pandemic may be considered over. It's not over anymore. So what's going on, and how does this impact your stimulus across the board? It starts with us understanding that the amount of the money is certainly dependent upon the number of checks. And those number of checks is a big issue when considering the House versus Senate proposal. Here is what you need to know. When we're looking at the payouts and we're looking at the amounts, it's also dependent on the number of checks. Well, let's start with this. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, July to December. And then we go to the payouts, $1,000 after the first month of 2000. Senate payouts monthly, not known, but word on the street is this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 a person, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. Now, why did the whole universe of the calculation change in the last week? Let's go over why. Over a week ago, we were saying that legislators may contend the pandemic is over. And so if that's the case, the House bill just gives you 1 year checks, not pandemic plus 1 year. And 1 year checks is $13,000. And then LA started it, as we always started here. It started a week ago where LA said, no, pandemic's not over. We're reversing the mask mandate. Then Warren Buffett coming out saying the pandemic's not over. He's head of Berkshire Hathaway. The airline saying no, the pandemic's not over. And then by Thursday, the news hit like a brick. Japan going on to a state of emergency as the pandemic's clearly not over there. Stocks falling as concerns about Delta and lack of recovery. And then ICU beds at 80% capacity in the state of Missouri, and not an anomaly across the board. Suddenly realizing that the pandemic's not over. In fact, I tuned into the Tour de France this morning. The announcer said, it's nice to see people along the tour route cheering on the riders, now that the pandemic's over. And then he corrected himself and he said, well, the pandemic's not over. It's, just different. There you go. So suddenly, that House bill looks like a lot more money. So it looks like the House bill would be pandemic plus 1 year because it's not over the pandemic. That would amount to more than $13,000 of checks. Compare that to the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Vote right now in the live chat. Which one do you like, House or Senate? And tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Hopefully your weather is better than mine tonight. Who gets a fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that they would give a fourth stimulus check to everyone who got a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not an issue of income, so it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents. And the fourth stimulus check would not come in waves as a monthly stimulus check. So if you do see the stimulus check trying to body surf tomorrow at the beach, and you look at the check and say, soggy check, don't be rude to the check. It's just not, it doesn't know how to surf, and it is soggy. But when that massive wave crashes, don't take it out and think the check is rude to you either. Wow, you're getting wavy. Look at you bounce. Bounce check. You're such a bounce check. Don't take it out on the check. Just hope it's not bouncing when you get it. The Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check in the month of July. For the month of July, you just have to hope it's not a bouncing check. And in the month of August, for the month of August. And the Democrats represent the final vote will be by July 4th. That certainly didn't happen. So what happened? I'll go over all that in the third part of this video. In the second part of this video, we go over the recon, where that recon will be giving you other sums of money as well. I'll go over what that is and why this is changing across the board. But here's also preview the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and fifth stimulus raises your benefits up a lifetime, especially if you're a veteran. I'll go over what happened with the Treasury yields yesterday and what they did today. It's just sort of a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. But first, let's get some money. If you're in the live chat right now, jump in the live chat right this second and post the rent, the utilities, the SNAP, the internet that you got. Because last night, Evening LA was on fire. Viewer after viewer on Evenings LA last night saying $13,000 of rent they got. Tag me if you're in the live chat. Say the rent you got right now. It was just a few weeks ago where I said, well, the rent is about $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. I was wrong. Viewers started getting $10,000, then $11,000, then $12,000, and now $13,000. Nisi has gotten $20,000 of rent, plus utilities and SNAP, bringing her grand total to $23,000. Art Sullivan has gotten 3 items. John has gotten $12,000 for SNAP. Then we turn to utilities. I said a couple $100 for utilities. I was wrong. Viewers are getting $3,000 for utilities. And then I talked about SNAP, where I said, hey, viewers are getting maybe $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Viewers are now getting far in excess of $10,000 for SNAP. So jump and post your comments because you inspire other people. You inspire other people to get other sums of money if they got one. You inspire people who got nothing to go get it, and you tell me the number updates about how much you're getting. All right, let's get up to those big numbers. I'm going to get you that money right now. This is what I do on this channel. Get a pen and paper ready. We're going to go over rent, utilities, homeowners utilities, and homeowners mortgage. I'm going to go over how you get this money. This is what this channel does, and you want to get this money. It's becoming very similar to December 2020. In December 2020, we're going the holidays. We were waiting for second stimulus to pass. It was not passing. So you needed money. I stepped up and I got viewers $250,000. Viewers like Tyrone, I got $15,000 for his family of 4 to ensure that the rent was paid all the way to the spring. It changed his and many people's lives during the holidays. I've been getting people rent since day one, money since day one, where I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans to save their business, their homes, and their employees' homes. So get ready. It's your day to get money as well. All right, you got that pen and paper ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to different places that have different eligibilities. So if one says no, reach out to the next one will say yes. And they all have different eligibility, different pots of money. All right, you're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. But you're not going to say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's wonderful operatic voice. Ouch, my ear. They don't know that. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to even have you say that to them. So don't say words they don't know and words that they don't want to know. And there you go. Congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of money is Snap. And yes, John got $12,000 for this. Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is it? It's money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of four in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raised your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And there you go. You're killing it. $15,000, $16,000 for Snap, $5,000 for rent at least, and we're only 11 minutes of this video. Well, let's get the next pop of money, and it's wonderful. It is money coming back from your states. One viewer 2 nights ago got $3,000 for this in the live chat on Evenings LA. So how much is it? Well, another viewer got $5,000 for it. It is the refund check due to overpayment of computer error. Federal government has ordered the money to you. Where is it landing? Direct deposit. When? Track it by calling up your state. Call up your state and say, hey, state, where is that money due to unemployment benefits and due to computer error and unemployment benefits? And can you track it this time with a computer that actually works? And finally, the wonderful sum of money that's coming back from IRS. If you got this money, jump in the live chat and post it right now. And if you haven't posted that rent utilities, post as well. This is a lot of money. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. What is it? It's the refund check for that IRS unemployment benefits. Let's go over how much. First, let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. When this month? Where? Direct deposit or in the mail? Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, do a transcript search, and 75% of the time it'll work. It'll reveal stuff that you never knew. It'll reveal some stuff that you don't want to know. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal Mitch's mixtape track list. It'll reveal who is the backup singers for Mitch, the Romney plan. There's always a backup for Mitch. Is the Romney plan the backup plan? And reveal finally the tax return refund check you're getting. There's always a Romney plan for something. And here we go. That's what we had on Javina Late last night with Sirloin. There's always a Romney plan. And here we go. Is what more wonderful than that? The second part of your forced stimulus starting right now. Forced stimulus is totally different tonight than it was several nights ago. What happened? The split. 2 Wednesdays ago, the split of the recon occurred, taking roads and bridges out, putting in its own path called bipartisan, and making the recon smaller. What had happened before that? Here's what happened before that. Before that, recon had money for the American people in it, plus roads and bridges. Pelosi, Schumer, the president, and Jalopal pulled Democrats, said they not voting in favor of something that's that big. The recon was too big. So the agreement was to take roads and bridges out, and they did that split 2 Wednesdays ago. Took roads and bridges out, making the recon much smaller. What was the benefit? Number one, a huge benefit. Now the recon became passable. What does passable mean? It means if you called it for a vote, it'll pass. You call for a vote before, it would not pass. GOP members, in fact, confirm this as much as Democrats. Here's a wonderful op-ed by a conservative publication that confirms my reporting that says the higher the price tag was for the recon, the harder it was to pass the recon. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall number of the recon bill got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon now passable. There you go. Sorry to set you up, Mitch. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. I mean, he was set up. The GOP had nothing to gain by blessing the bipartisan because now it's setting the recon up to pass. Well, there you go. So then what became the second benefit of this? The second benefit of this is that now that the recon was smaller, the progressives could add a little bit more stuff in there. Not a lot, but just a little bit more in there for you. And now they confirmed they are adding more in there. So what are they adding in there? Let me go over both of those steps. Number one, let's first understand what a recon is and how is it made. A recon is a reconciliation bill. It's written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats in this case. And who actually writes it? Who actually types it up? The people who are the lead authors are on the subcommittees of the House of Representatives. And those House of Representatives subcommittees are dedicated to different subjects based upon what they're for. So House of Ways and Means does stimulus checks. They also do unemployment. Other subcommittees do other things. Those subcommittees do not have a briefing or constitutional authority, a constitutional requirement to give you an update about what they're doing at any time. They just don't have to. And they don't have to show you what they're doing. They have to show you if they voted or didn't vote. But the senators are giving us and House members are giving us the update that they are adding in additional things. So here's the confirmation that new things are being added in. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens with a bipartisan, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it to go. There you go. So what is potentially being added in there? Housing. Housing? Yep, here's Representative Richie Torres, Democrat of New York, says, I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless the recon's big enough. And he's put housing in there. Interesting. The Progressive Caucus is meeting regularly with the White House to ensure the recon goes big enough. So what does this mean? Now that you know that the recon was shrunk by taking out roads and bridges, but now the stuff is being added in from the progressives, what is being added in? We will never know until the finality. But later in this video, you're going to see that members of that House subcommittee, Ways and Means, represent they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. They could be in there this morning and be out by this afternoon and then back in the next morning. So understand, legislators can change their mind at any time. They could take it in, take it out, put it back in. But the economic data today, or actually Thursday, was horrible. And now that signals that these members should put other stuff in there. Viewers have been asking me, should they put PEUC, PUA, FPUC, unemployment? Should they put student loan debt forgiveness? How about mortgage forbearance? How about extension of the rent eviction moratorium for rent? Well, the economic data now says yes, yes, and yes. On Thursday, the new jobless claims number came in at 373,000 new claims. What is that number? The number tracks how many people who've had a job this entire pandemic, gone to work every single day for a job, and suddenly got laid off last week. These aren't people staying at home that want to hire a minimum wage or something like this. These are people who have a job that lost their job. And the number was higher than Wall Street estimated, and it was much higher than even pre-pandemic levels. So we're going to a bad direction. Meantime, China's economy is slowed in June. There's indication our economy slowed in June. The Treasury yields fell 1.25% on Thursday, signaling we're slowing. And we have a lot of other world countries showing their economies are stalling as well, just on economic recovery. I'm not even talking about Delta yet. So you need to push purple power. You can't hold up that donut and recline on the reclining chair and say, hey, when am I getting my stimulus check? You need to push, because these Democrats could take something out in a second, but they also add something in. They indicate they're adding stuff in. So if you want FPUC, PUA, PEUC put in, if you want them modified, modify them. Donna 2 nights ago said, hey, how about modifying FPUC so it comes from the federal government? I love that. Finally, remember that to modify legislation is easy. To reactivate existing legislation or extend it is easy. It's just a one-line entry. More about that later in this video. How can they do this? They can do this because the recon is protected by Jalopal and the Democrats. Brian Schatz says the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon his own priorities. So the progressives are protecting the recon to ensure it has everything they need in there. And how do we get to this great spot? From Jalopal. Jalopal had written a letter to Schumer saying, call the vote. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are among the 100, yeah, you heard me right, 100 plus House Democrats, who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? We can. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means subcommittee I just talked about wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, now that's huge. These are the people who wrote your third stimulus recon check earlier this year that became law. They claim they're giving you a fifth stimulus recon check next year. They wrote your first and second stimulus check, and now they represent they're doing a fourth stimulus recon check as well. Remember, you have to push. They could change their mind at any time. You need to keep on pushing and make sure they keep their promise to you. Can we top that? We can. As the president now has it official, that international corporate tax rate, which became a element of pageantry signing, a press op 3 weeks ago, became official. The official signature became pen to paper this week. Now the corporate tax rate internationally is raised. What's at issue? The president's paying for recon by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate, but he was worried that in doing that, business may move overseas to where the corporate tax rate is lower. So he reached out to those countries and said, hey, raise your corporate tax rate up. They've now done it, and now it is now a final law this week, even though you saw the sort of the pageantry shining 3 weeks ago. What does this mean? Number one, it makes it easier to write recon for because now you don't need these provisions about international corporate taxes in there. Number two, it makes it easier to call for a vote. Number three, it makes it easier to pass. It anchors fourth stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line because now you don't need this complexity. It's in the international agreement. Wow, can we top that? We can. In the third part, the final 15 minutes of this video, you're going to hear all the monstrosities, all the nuances, all the questions answered, everything you've been asking about. July 4th, July 15th, July 14th, the vote, the dates, everything, when, where, how, all that's answered in the final 15 minutes of this big broadcast. Up before that is fifth stimulus with exciting details of how beneficiaries are seeing their benefits lifted up this fall. But even more wonderful are the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, internet, or SNAP, and you've tried to get it and you can't get it, then I want you to get it. Remember, as the pandemic rages on, this is just like December of last year. I want you to get this money, and if you put the effort in, you can't find it, don't worry, I got your back. So too do the volunteers. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down in the description so you see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of the house is a link to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. On the page, of the volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you find that big money. And I will be back with you in 60 seconds, where I go over all those big, exciting details about fourth stimulus in that final 15 minutes. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on this big Evenings LALATE broadcast, direct from Santa Monica, with the big final 15 minutes of this video you need to stay for, where I go over all your questions answered about fourth stimulus and what's going on. And then we also cut to fifth stimulus with that raising up of your beneficiaries across the board. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Then it's Evening's Crypto. Then Sirloin is back. And if you do see that viewer who encouraged me to bring it back, Yaya saw his name as well. I thought it was Chatster, but it's Chatster. tell him to come on in. He was the inspiration to bring his father to bring sirloin back in the mix. And I love all your great comments. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcium, and VIP. Let's get to the breaking details. Fifth stimulus raises your benefits up a lifetime and gives you those benefit lifts that was President Biden's promise on the campaign trail, but didn't happen initially. Now it's happening under fifth stimulus in a different form. It is the SSI reform that you were promised. First, they'll raise your benefits up. They'll remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark. They will then remove the income exclusion and remove the marriage penalty. It pays you a lot more than SS 200. How much more? I'm going to go over all those details starting right now. But first, this stimulus will have another stimulus check. It'll be next year. It's written by those House subcommittee members, and it will not overlap with fourth stimulus. Number two, the exciting details is that the president's dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your benefits do go out on time. This is second, third, fourth, fifth stimulus. Finally, if you're missing any stimulus checks, you have to file a tax return, number one. And number two, request it on that line item of the tax return. If you've not done that, both items, contact a tax preparer. All right, let's go to what's going on with this shocking twist of turns about inflation. How does this benefits reform work? First, they'll raise your benefits up one big time. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or multiple benefits, your benefits will be raised up one big time. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That benchmark is applied later this year for next year's benefits. The new benchmark will be inflation, and inflation's going up. At least we were told. So Thursday was just wacko. Thursday was just wacko. Because everyone was talking about inflation's going like this, up, straight up, straight up, and then it's going to come back down. That's going to reach a height, and then that height will be temporary, or what they they also call transitory, and then come back down. And Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, 2 weeks ago said, it's going to reach its highest point in December. So what happened on Thursday? Well, the Treasury yields fell 1.25% in one day. What? Yeah, there was a big concern that inflation's going the other direction. As China said, we slowed our economy in June. There was thoughts that this economy slowed in the month of June. And Ed Hyman said that this 1.25% drop in the Treasury yields is extreme. The decline in the bond yield signals that the inflation burst may be transitory, may be temporary. Now, it did improve on Friday, but even so, there is enough data out there that the stock market and the jobless claims signal that maybe this recovery is not really there yet, and that inflation is not as robust. So let's choose down a lower number. Let's say maybe the inflation rate will be 5% in December. They'll raise your benefits up one big time. Then they'll apply the benchmark. Let's say it's 5%. Your benefits will step up 5%. Not just next year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. And if the inflation rate the year after that is 1%, then you'll be at +1, +5%. Next, under this SSI reform, they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now that will go away, and you'll be able to have some Crayola crowns and some stimulus checks in your hand. Maybe a taco also. Maybe a nice pina colada. They're going to remove the income tax cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also work. Now you'll be able to work if you wish. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You will no longer fear the marriage penalty, and you'll no longer lose benefits or your benefits will be restored. It will not be retroactive. But viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. So there you go. That's fifth stimulus. But if you're in the live chat and you're noticing all these people that have that emoji of a hawk purple next to their name, posting their successes with rent and utilities and SNAP, and you haven't gotten anything and you wonder, how are they learning where this money is? They are members. Members are delivered daily from me to them, a breakdown of all the money. Go to the join button under this video and join and become a member. The link to become a member is at the top of the channel, pinned comment. Members are delivered daily from me to them via the YouTube community page, a breakdown of all the money that's available under third stimulus. Because when third stimulus was passed, I said, yeah, you get a $14 stimulus check, but I'll get you $14,000 from many of you. And a lot of you, as you're now seeing, are getting 14, 13, 15, 20. They gain a lot of money from this channel by becoming a member and learning the money that's dedicated for them. Remember, who cares what the money's called, so long as it's money? And the more money you can get and the faster you can get it from this channel, the better you are. So consider becoming a member. And with that, we go into our final 15 minutes of this big Fourth Stimulus Check Evenings LA broadcast, starting right now. Number 1, July 4th. What happened with July 4th? Leader Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, 1,000 times said the final vote on the recon by July 4th. Well, it didn't happen. What was that promise? The final vote, not the first vote, but the final vote, meaning it will be passed by July 4th, not on July 4th. So what happened? This is what happened. When they made that promise several thousands of times, the recon was this type of recon. It had roads and bridges in there. They had not taken the roads and bridges out. They did not know until they asked their Democratic leadership that with the roads and bridges in there, they could not pass the recon on by July 4th. So they could not call the vote because it would die. To which I say, okay, but just split it from the bipartisan and put the roads and bridges in the bipartisan 2 Wednesdays ago, which was before July 4th. So why didn't you call the vote on the recon after you split it from the bipartisan? And to which they said, because we can't. Why not? Now, you and I know that the recon has to go for a vote before the bipartisan concurrently. It cannot go after. If it goes after, the recon dies. If it goes first or concurrently, we're fine. Is the recon ready for a vote? The Democrats represent it is, whether that's accurate or not, but that's what they represent. So why not call the vote on the recon? Well, because there was enough Democrats who came back to Pelosi and Schumer and Jolly and said, you have to call the bipartisan somewhere close in time to the recon. Close in time? So we can't call the recon for a vote now. We can get to the bipartisan to, like in November. The roads and bridges have been crumbling for 30 years. Just, let them crumble till November. We need the money to go after the recon. No, you have to call them close in time, enough Democrats said. Okay, so then just call them close in time. What's the problem? Recon's ready. Isn't the bipartisan ready? Oh, it's not ready? Yeah, unbeknownst to all of us, no one checked and noticed that the bipartisan wasn't even written. Here's the problem, and here's the culprit. His name is the President of the United States. It's his fault. In June of 2020, the president was meeting every single day with Shelley Moore Capito, the GOP negotiator. But when she was meeting with the president about roads and bridges and the split, she had no bill. She had no proposal. And ultimately, those negotiations fell apart. So then he started meeting with the bipartisan group and ultimately agreed upon the split 2 Wednesdays ago. When they agreed upon the split, that bipartisan group did not have a bill. They did not have a proposal. So he repeated the process, to which I would say, okay, all right, so big deal. I mean, you're legislators. What are you doing? You're in Congress to legislate. It's been 2.5 weeks since the split. Are you finished writing it? They're not giving an update. The update, as of just a few days ago, is not written yet. How much of it's not written? What's going on? To which we all sort of stop and we pause and we say, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Because this is becoming 2020. Hashtag write the bill. This is where we're looking again at 2020, where legislators elected to Congress to write. They're not elected to do anything else but legislate. And legislate means writing up a bill. You're going to Congress to write something. You're not going there to wine and dine people all day long. You're going there to legislate and write something up. And it's been 2.5 weeks, and we're waiting for the American recon to go out and help American families. And you haven't written something about a crumbling bridge that's been crumbling for 50 years, and you haven't finished it. And it's been 2.5 weeks, and you didn't write it before, and you haven't, it's still not finished now. Unacceptable. Hashtag write the bill. Hashtag write the bill. You have to push these legislators because this is becoming 2020. Now, if I was there, I'd write the bill in a day. But this is not acceptable. So you have to push them to get that bill written. Number 2, July 4th versus July 5th and July 15th and July 14th. What's going on? Well, we just did July 4th. What's this July 15th and July 14th? I love my viewers. You are just so wonderful because you know all these details. There's always someone that jumps in the chat and says, are we getting the checks on the July 15th? I heard we getting checks on the July 15th. No. The checks going out July 14th or July 15th are third stimulus checks for children. This is a fourth stimulus check video. That's third stimulus. Now, there's some viewers that sort of pass through and say, I know it's third stimulus, but can they send them out together because they're sort of send them out at the time? No, it's not like they're saving, like they had the printers turn on and they just turn on the computer and they're starting to type, just type out some extra checks for us while you're doing it. No, it's not how it works. Then we get to the vote. So I used to do a lot of videos on vote, and now I have to bring them back because I'm getting questions with votes where people say, okay, so when they get this done, just vote what day is the vote? I get these questions, what day is the vote? This is not a dictatorship. In a dictatorship, there's a one vote, one check process where you vote and you have a check. Or maybe in a dictatorship, you don't even have a vote. He gets out his checkbook, the dictator, and just writes you a check. In America, a democracy, it's not a one vote country. You have the House and the Senate that have to separately vote and the president sign, to which someone will say, okay, so it's a two vote. What 2 days are they voting? No, it's not 2 days to vote. What do you mean? Here you have three bills. You have three bills. And what are the three bills? The three bills are the recon procedural, the recon substantive, and the recon bipartisan. Now, is that three items of voting? No. How many is it? 12. 12. Yeah, 12. Now, it doesn't mean it takes 12 days, but it's 12 items of voting. 3 rounds of 4 votes. Senate subcommittee, Senate floor, House, President. There you go, 4. You do it 3 times. That's 12 steps. Recon procedural, recon substantive, and bipartisan. Finally, what's important to note is that you have very, very bad economic data this week. You got to be opportunistic. That's how we are on this channel. It's opportunity knocking at the door. We don't always have bad economic data. And when there's too much economic data, you know what people always say in the comments, and they're right. They say, oh, the economy is really good. They're not going to give you anything. The economy is too good. It's too good. They don't want to give you anything. Well, that's sort of like, that's what Republicans would do. But even, there is concern always with a Democrat or a moderate Democrat. It's just, we're doing really well. Everyone's driving around with a Ferrari and, and big gold chains. It's just, everyone's doing really well. They're not going to give us anything. No one's driving around with gold chains after this week because 373,000 people who had a job during the pandemic lost it last week. And that's a bad number. And you have to be opportunistic. And now is the opportunity. Now opportunity is knocking. If you watch these videos and you say, well, why doesn't LA talk about mortgage student loan debt forgiveness? Why is he talking about FPUC or PUA? Here's your opportunity. Go in and go and get them. It does not take much time. When I mean much time, like a half hour, like 20 minutes is much time for me. It does not take much time to add in FPUC, PUA, PUC. Why? Because the law was already written last year. All they have to do is say, we reinstitute the law for another 6 more weeks starting on July 15th or whatever. Or we extend it, if it has not expired, for another 16 weeks from where it is right now. And done. That's why third stimulus was so few pages. When you have a law already written, you just say we're going to do it again. It's very easy. You don't have to rewrite. You don't have to do the law again. It's already law. You just say we're reinstituting it. Very easy. So if you want FPUC, if you want PEUC, if you want PUA, if you want student loan debt forgiveness, call up your Democratic senators. Say, hey, did you see this economic data? We need this. I need this. My family needs this. I'll tell you why I need stuff. Remember, you're not calling up your Democratic senator to say, where is my money? When? Where? When? You're not going to do that. That's Donut Guy. You're going to call them up and say, this is what I need. This is what I need, and I'm going to tell you why Americans around me need it as well. I need this because this is what's going on. The president a week ago did a victory lap because of all the job creations. He's not doing a victory lap right now. He knows he has to give you this money. The recon is the opportunity for the Democrats to send out money for the American people. It's a bill written by them for you and for the American people. The recon is only checks. There's nothing else in recon. It's checks for this and checks for that. The president said there's checks for medicine and children and seniors. All these people in the coverage in this video say that there's stimulus checks in there, and then you have Core is saying that that's housing, but there can be a lot more. They can also take stuff out. Be careful. So you have to push and make sure they keep it in there. But this is where it can go, and this is where it can go very big and bold. So hashtag Purple Power, hashtag Write the Bill. Also push to ensure all these monies you're entitled to get in there. And I'll stay on top of the subject matter because the economic news is changing very quickly. We're not even dealing with the issue of Delta yet. When Delta kicks in, the economic data could go totally different. Now is the opportunity. It's knocking for you to do your thing. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you to subscribe to this channel, become part of this family, and contact your Democratic senators to ensure you get all the money you're entitled across the board. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so you get all the big money that's available for you right now. Like the viewers who are getting $10,000, $12,000, $13,000. Stay on this video, take you automatically into Overnight's Crypto. Coming up right next. I'll see you on Overnight's Crypto. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.